Shalom Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. A whirlwind of things are going on, guys, since we've been out of the loop here the last couple of days. We had to make a trip to a certain location there to discuss some of the issues of my past there, a different involvement in the intelligence community that we'll be actually speaking about publicly for the first time, actually in more details coming the conference on August the 4th, 2018 here in Orlando, Florida. We've also already begun to set up another conference in Nashville, Tennessee, and also in Oregon. Nashville, Tennessee is going to be on the 14th and 15th of September. We still have yet to work out the final details with the, there is a Messianic community there that is hosting the conference there. They have a facility that can seat, I think, about 250 individuals. They will be handling the reservations of that meeting there. It will be a Yom Shabbat evening and Yom Shabbat service, which will be Friday and Saturday, Friday evening as well as on Saturday. Be having 4 different messages, one on Friday evening about Yom Kippur, and then 3 other meetings. One will be including my time in the intelligence community there, as well as Yana will be speaking on Israel is hijacked. And again, I'll conclude with one final message there, speaking about the takeover or the hijacking of the believers trying to bring the churches under the New World Order. Very troubling things that we're sharing around the world. Then, of course, I think it's going to be around January. Roughly, I got the information today, I forget the exact date, but I think it's around January the 18th, right in that area there. We'll be doing a meeting in Oregon. I'll give you more details on that very soon. That meeting there will be also with L.A. Marzulli. He'll be speaking at that conference there, another 2-day conference. And we are still working right now details for North Carolina area. I'm thinking it's going to be around Charlotte, North Carolina, but that's going to be coming up a little bit sooner here. We have not worked out the details on that. It should be in late August. Get with you guys on that as soon as we possibly can. If you want to attend the Orlando conference, we do have room. We were able to extend the number of people that were able to be there. We can go up to close to 200 now, and we've already booked about 140 people. I did get a couple of people that have emailed me that wanted to be booked. For some reason, I cannot get to email them back, and I don't want to call their names here. But let me just say this. If you've booked with us already as of today's date, and you did not get a response from me, I have a husband and wife that wanted to come, and I won't speak their names here, and there was another individual that wanted to come. You're booked. You can come. I do have your names on the list there, so it's not a problem. You'll be able to come there, but for some reason, every time I try to email you back, the email is just not working. And in both cases, you emailed me on Israeli News Live from our website directly there, and it could have been that you did not put your email address in properly when you tried to let us know that you wanted to attend the conference. So, at any rate, I just want to give you those updates there, guys. And let me take you right into what's going on here. This gentleman here is a Druze, and is Druze of the faith of the Druze community inside of Israel. And I'm seeing more and more and very much a disgruntlement among those who are non-Jews in Israel but are Israeli citizens that are very upset about what's happening in Israel over the Jewish national law. I want to play for you what he says here. And let me just real quick, I did take the time, I understand what he says in Hebrew myself, but I took the time to really sit down and translate a little bit more accurately. What they put here on the Hebrew here on Twitter, if you're using the translation system in there, it's not going to translate it accurately, okay? So just so you're aware of that there. Sometimes people think that translator and Twitter is good. It is not a good translating tool at all. It might give you the gist of what's being said, but it will not give you the actual proper way. So I did take the time to translate what he said there. I wanted you to be able to hear this. So let me play it for you. Back it up. He says, the national law is a test that is killing my Israeli dream. He said, the dream, every Druze soldier in the state security forces has become a mercenary. From this moment, I do not feel that I am Israeli. There are only Jews and non-Jews. And of course, he's going to finish by saying, I'm not a Jew. That's when he said, Velo Yehudim. I am not a Jew. But he's got a passion. And he had a dream of being an Israeli. And he was very disturbed by this. This is on Channel 11 in Israel that this appeared on. Chadashot, it's a news channel actually. I saw it a second ago. Let me pull it back up. Okay, it's on News Channel 7 is what it's on. Chadashot Shiva is the actual channel that it's on that says there. But very troubling to see. This is happening over and over and over. And as we brought out as well, it's not only discriminatory against the Israeli citizens that are non-Jews, but it's also discriminatory against the other 10 tribes, the House of Israel, that clearly it's come back in the modern days as part of the fulfillment of biblical prophecy. They can't come back unless they bow to the consensus of a Jewish nation. Well, many of them are not Jews. They are by birth the children of Israel, and many of them may be believers in Yeshua. They might even be Muslim. We have no idea. There have been a lot of Jews that converted to Muslim under fear of the Muslim religion during their exile, just like there are many of the House of Israel that have converted to different religions, including Christianity. But nonetheless, it's a very troubling situation with the Jewish national law there. Very sad to see that actually passed. Other things that are going on in Israel today, this morning there was a very odd type of quote-unquote riot on the Temple Mount. The Israeli forces began to disperse the crowd with tear gas and stuff. They said that some in the crowd began to throw stones and stuff at Israeli security forces. They actually called it, as the title says, "Police just don't get why Muslims rioted." They said it's unclear and hard to understand what caused them to begin to start throwing stones at the security forces there. I would have to say it has a lot to do with the tensions that are going on in the country. We know we've had a lot of tensions over with Gaza, and I'm sure with the tensions that are happening in Gaza, and now, of course, Hamas has struck back as well. They have shot, they have killed Israeli forces, they have wounded Israeli forces, their own snipers. So that is only increasing tensions, and as Lieberman has stated, when the sirens go off in Israel, they really go off in Gaza. That's letting you know that Israel is using a much heavier hand with much larger bombs, which unfortunately there is a lot of collateral damage, as they call it. Well, it's the death of children and women that have nothing to do with these riots. So it's very troubling indeed. And it's troubling on both sides, because there are Israeli victims as well. We have the stabbing deaths here, mentioned here on Arutz Shiva there, of a family. Yotam Ovadiah, 31, he lost his life, and of course his father was saying at his funeral there that, his little 2-year-old boy is crying for his daddy. And so it's very, very heart-wrenching. He left behind 2 children, including his wife. Says Obadiah was brutally murdered on Thursday evening when a 17-year-old terrorist jumped the security fence in Jerusalem area town of Adam and stabbed him to death. The terrorist, identified as Tarak Daraf Yosef, also stabbed 2 other Jews. One is in moderate condition, the other was released from the hospital on Thursday night. Obadiah is survived by his wife Tal and his 2 children, 2-year-old Harel and 7-month-old Itai. So very, very troubling indeed. And of course, biblical prophecy, as I've mentioned to you guys before, this is clearly Ezekiel's prophecy when he talked about that they would use the sword. I believe that's in Ezekiel 35. Probably get into that a little bit tonight on Shabbat Live. I don't know if we'll be running the live broadcast on Shabbat. We'll probably do a pre-recording on this because I still don't have it set up to go live. I will try to run it live on Israeli News Live on live stream though, so we will be running it there live if you want to watch our Shabbat Live this evening. You can watch that on that particular channel there. Also, Palestinian teen Tamimi is to be released from Israeli prison. This is the young girl that was at the time 16 years old that was put in jail for smacking around an Israeli soldier, and that went viral. The young lady that did this, I don't know if they show this on here, but this may have been when they actually arrested her. And it took her off to prison for that incident of slapping around the soldier. But you know what a lot of people never show you, that's the video that went viral, is what the Israelis had done to her family. You know, sometimes we don't see all the other side of things that are going on. The young lady is very angry. You know, her brothers have been shot, several of her brothers have been shot multiple times. Her mother had been arrested like 7 times, her father 14 times. I mean, the family has undergone unbelievable attacks against this family, and this little girl growing up has seen all this. So yeah, they did do it, and they did make it public, and of course it resulted in her arrest. And the sad thing to me, though, and this is something that has concerned me a lot, is the fact that children are being arrested without due process. It is being done through military tribunal, and this is something that is not right. They're not allowed to have due process nor an attorney. It's just really sad. I mean, they have over 99% success rate in prosecution. There's approximately 700 Palestinian children that are in jail. 140 of those are of the ages of 12 to 14, and they could be serving anywhere to up to 20 years in prison for throwing stones. That's just a bit much. 20 years for throwing stones? Kids? You know, an adult, maybe I can understand a little bit if you got someone that's 18 years and older and they're throwing stones and hitting a car that could result in the deaths of Israeli citizens, you know, or any person for that matter. But kids, 12 years old, something is just not normal about this. Due process is what we need to see, and them being allowed to speak to their parents. Most of these kids are drug away from their parents, never get to see their parents again. They go to the prison and they end up in a prison, and maybe they might get a visitation right eventually, but there is no due process at all. Very troubling indeed what goes on. White House says that President Trump opened to visiting Moscow. That was after President Putin has accepted a visitation that was extended to President Putin by President Trump. President Putin has accepted that visitation. They were talking about doing it in the fall of the year, but that has been pushed back to 2019. So kind of curious to see how that plays out. Would love to be there when that happens, and it seems like every time they do that, I'm moving from one country to the next. So hopefully that won't be the case. Military I didn't see this article at all. Military confrontation in space may be as dangerous as nuclear arms race. Moscow on the U.S. draft defense budget. That's some new news that I didn't see. But anyway, brand new U.S. destroyer breaks down during the trials. In fact, the breakdown of this stealth ship here that the U.S. Navy has was so bad that they're going to have to replace the engine at the tune of $20 million. Irreparable. Jeez, that's crazy, isn't it? Here Erdogan is at it again. Wow, you talking about a brave man. He just doesn't care less about any of the laws. He's over in Mongolia, and the government has reportedly ground a Bombardier-class TT-4010 plane operated by the Turkish Air Force. It is used by their intelligence, the MIT, for secret operations, and they have kidnapped. They have actually kidnapped a Mongolian citizen, and the people were standing on the runway declaring, and this was the students, by the way, that was and colleagues of the teacher that was taken by Erdogan's intelligence forces there, kidnapping them out of the country. I know there's one of the people here that actually posted the name of that person there. Let me just see if I can. I'll have to see if I can use that tweet there. Let's see. Trying to find out what saw the name earlier, and then I forgot to keep that name up there. But anyway, It is a Mongolian teacher that has been kidnapped. Says Turkish intel plane is still at the airport, not allowed to take off for now. Abducted Turkish teacher is believed to be on board. His loved ones, students, and colleagues gathered before the airport to thwart his illegal rendition. Erdogan just doesn't care about any kind of international law. But I guess that kind of goes to say for a lot of governments. You'd be surprised what our government does as well. Anyway, I'm Stephen Benoon. You're watching Israeli News Live. Got a lot of catching up to do. All it takes is a couple of days being out of the loop, and you got a lot of homework to do. And I have been working for hours today looking at things, going over things that are happening. So got a lot going on. We look forward to seeing you guys. It won't be this weekend, but I believe it's next weekend, if I'm not mistaken, is the conference itself. Let me just quickly jump over here because I know we are getting very close to that time. Do keep us in mind on your support for these meetings there. Everything is very costly. I didn't mean to put in conference, I meant to put in calendar. It's very costly to do the things, and having to double the size so that we could get everybody in for the Orlando conference there raises that up very significantly. So we definitely could certainly use your help. And not only this one, but we're trying to prepare also for several others. We're not doing any more hosted conferences. We do have 2 that are being hosted, and we do greatly appreciate the friends that are hosting these for us. But because of the subject matter that we are putting out, we are being extremely careful of the things that are, because of the things and the sensitivity of things that are going to be said. We are appreciative, though, in the areas that we may be going, of people that can help us to find a location to host a conference at, and also because of the security needs that we will need in each one of these conferences, just to be on the safe side. But anyway, yes, we are. Today is July 27th, so it is actually, yes, a week from this coming Saturday is the conference. So yeah, we're only 8 days away. So we're really excited about meeting many of you guys that are coming. Again, if you want to be a part of it, email us, stephenbenoon@gmail.com. And let me just quickly, I think I've got let me see. This is the conference real quick, just for those of you that are wanting to know. You can look, though, online at israelinewslive.org. Just go to our website. It'll give you the details, phone numbers for the hotel. It is at Embassy Suites Orlando North in Ultimate Springs, Florida. Their phone number is 407-834-2400 if you need to book your room there if you're coming out of town. August the 4th, 2018. 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. is the actual conference times itself. Myself and my wife both will be speaking. And but just keep in mind, you need to come just a little bit early. The doors do open at around 5:30 p.m. and because I need to have someone there to check off for everybody that's coming in. We have several groups coming in as well, but just so that we can make sure that we have everybody seated properly. And if you want to help to donate to the ministry there, our address here, you can also do that by mail. Danoon Institute, 8297 Champions Gate Boulevard, Champions Gate, Florida, 33896. We thank you for your support, and God bless you, and thank you for watching. I'm Steve Benoon with Israeli News Live. Erev Tov, and a world of Ein Shalom. There is